Cynthia is in Denver. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate you taking my call.
Sure.
I am the CFO and COO of a SaaS tech company in the commercial airline space. We have 3 executives and 11 full-time and part-time employees. This year we'll clear about $1.5 million in gross revenue. Next year we're about going to double that.
Wow.
We're starting to have thank you. We're starting to have conversations about selling this business. So I've started formalizing our forecasting and budgeting process so that we can communicate our numbers really clearly to brokers and potential buyers.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure if I should be keeping the forecast, because usually what I'm doing is I have a spreadsheet where I have the forecast and then I do the budget to actuals every month in that same sheet. And it occurred to me, should I be keeping the forecast? Like, is there some value in that to show, like, how good are we at forecasting to potential buyer?
Yeah, I would think. I mean, if you're hitting your forecasts, they're valuable. If they're not, they're not. If you're not, they're probably not part of the package you're handing out. You're handing out the actual numbers.
Yeah.
But we look at it for different reasons, but we keep all of ours and say, okay, you know, and the question we're asking is much more primitive. We're just going, how bad do we suck at budgeting? You know, it's like, because like, God, we never hit that. We're always over, we're always under. That department's always sandbagging. That one's always overly optimistic. And, you know, and we look at it from that to try to gauge the confidence factor of next year's budget. You know, that kind of a thing. But that's a little different motivation. But in this case, you would show that, okay, yeah, we're on this hockey stick ride up and to the right with the revenues, and we knew it was going to happen. And so you can reasonably project because we have. That's a good selling point, I would think, to a buyer.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
If you're missing the stuff by double, though, I mean, if you're in a real heavy growth thing and you're missing your expenses or something by double, that's going to indicate lack of competence and lack of confidence in your numbers.
Yeah. That totally makes sense. Okay. Yeah, most of the time we end up way above our projections. Like, you know, our expense margin has gone from when we started the business about 25% to right now our expenses are like 12% of the total business. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, but you got some fixed costs that are just being amortized across a lot larger number of trips.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly. And so my thought about the reason I started thinking about this is I was like, for the point you just made, does it make it more valuable if I can show you when we onboard a new airline, this is what the growth looks like, and this is the resulting growth in like increase in expenses to support that business?
I wouldn't personally, if I were buying it, I wouldn't give you value for that, but it would make it more attractive.
Okay.
Because I can see that I might be able to do that, but I wouldn't be willing to pay you a multiple of money you've not yet made.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I guess to your point, it's more like we know our business really well, and this is what you can expect from a growth rate. We've proven it over time. We've proven that this is what this looks like. Yeah. And we have those historical
the marketplace
to kind of show you.
Our market share can increase at this for not to infinity, but there's a lot more room for this brand penetration to continue at this level and the resulting revenue. Yeah, I think that's all stuff you could talk about. But that just makes me want to buy it versus I'm buying a business in an industry that's kind of going wah wah wah, But I also don't want to buy somebody's numbers that sold plexiglass during COVID.
Right.
Those are artificial. Right. That's an anomaly. Those are artificial numbers.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
So that's what I'm trying to ascertain. But I think if you can show, that there's room in the marketplace for this, there's room for this brand to expand further, and here's what we've been able to do, and that's an indicator of that, then that makes it more attractive. But again, some people will pay for that. I was looking at a deal the other day that some friends of mine were looking at, and these goobers, they ran a net present value out 15 years. And I'm like, I'm not paying you out 15 years of growth. That's why I'm buying it. I'm paying you on what you've done so far, a multiple of what you've actually done, not what you're dreaming about. But these guys were looking at it. They were willing to do that. And I'm not in that deal. I was just looking at it, kind of rolling my eyes at them. But yeah, but I don't know what business you can project out 15 years with the rate of change in the business world today. I mean, and claim accuracy. That's absurd. But I do think it makes it more attractive, and I like what you're doing there. You've got a really good mind, and the way you're viewing this, your critical thinking skills, I think, are incredible on it. And I think they're lucky to have you sitting in that numbers cruncher role right there. They need you. Yeah, you're amazing. Good job. Very good job. Thank you for being part of the EntreLeadership Podcast.